Sure. Here's a full rewrite of the entire narrative, preserving the original story, tone, and sequence of events, but using different wording and phrasing throughout. My wife Rachel came home one day in February with a declaration. She needed time apart to find herself. This wasn't one of those dramatic speeches you hear during arguments. No, she had a full plan laid out. A temporary separation, but with an unusual clause. I'd still be responsible for all her financial needs during this phase of self-exploration. That meant I was expected to keep paying for her car, phone, credit cards, rent, basically everything. Her reasoning? She couldn't truly grow as a person if she was weighed down by money problems. After 4 years of marriage and countless impulsive, pricey ideas from Rachel, I wasn't shocked. But what she didn't realize was that I'd been quietly growing tired. Not just of her spending, but of the way she viewed me, less as a life partner, more like her personal ATM. So when she unveiled her growth journey, I played along. I smiled, nodded, and told her I supported her wholeheartedly. She looked thrilled, unaware that I was just as eager for space, though for reasons very different from hers. She moved into a luxury loft downtown, far beyond her means. Since she wasn't employed, I co-signed the lease. She took the nicest furniture and left me with the leftovers. That first month, she dove into her new life, ordering takeout nightly, indulging in spa days, joining boutique yoga classes, buying clothes, all under the banner of personal development. I, on the other hand, started quietly tracking every expense. Credit card bills, receipts, bank records, all documented and organized. By month 3, she'd discovered her purpose as a life coach and enrolled in an expensive certification program, again, funded by me. Then came the spiritual phase. A 3-week retreat in Costa Rica ran over $4000. She came back full of talk about chakras, vibrations, and healing energies. By month 5, she'd reinvented herself once more, this time as an artist. Her loft turned into an art studio, stacked with canvases and paint she rarely touched. While she found herself, I rediscovered something too. Peace. No more stress. No more emotional ups and downs. I cooked for myself, embraced the quiet, and watched my finances with newfound clarity. I wasn't just giving Rachel room to grow. I was reclaiming my own life. By the 6th month, I'd had enough. I removed her from my credit cards, closed our shared bank account, rerouted my paycheck into a private one, and transferred all the bills to my name. I was finished. Then came the call. Her cards were being declined. She thought there'd been a banking error. When she finally got in touch with me, I explained everything. What she called a trial separation had just become final. She said she wanted independence, now she had it. 2 days later, she showed up at my place looking disheveled, messy hair, wrinkled clothes, eyes full of panic. Rent was due. Her bank balance was near zero. Her fantasy had unraveled. She cried, yelled, begged. Claimed this wasn't what she meant. Accused me of being heartless. She promised change, said she was ready to come back. I sat and listened as she cycled through every stage of grief, right there in our old living room. But I remained composed. Because I'd changed, too. Not just emotionally. I'd taken charge of my life and my finances. I was no longer her fallback plan. I'd stopped being her lifeline and started being my own. She said she'd find herself. I let her go. And in doing so, I found something even better, freedom. Before she left, I calmly pulled out the folder I'd kept. Neatly organized records of every charge she'd made during our separation. Coaching programs she'd abandoned, unopened art materials, the costly retreat that seemed to offer no enlightenment except to my wallet. In just 6 months, she'd spent $22,800, excluding rent and other living expenses I had covered through direct payments. Her face turned white as she flipped through the pages. Clearly, she'd never paid attention to how much her so-called transformation was costing. She made desperate promises. She'd repay me, take money seriously. But we both knew that wasn't happening. The journey she thought would help her become someone new? It did. Just not in the way she expected. Because in the end, the one who truly changed was me. She had always struggled with follow-through. Never held a job longer than 6 months. And her idea of managing money was just keeping her credit cards under the limit. I finally gave her a deadline, the end of the month, to figure out her own living situation. After that, she was on her own. What came next was a flurry of guilt-tripping. Her sister called me cold, and her mother left emotional voicemails reminding me that marriage was about sticking together through tough times. I responded to each of them the same way, by sending spreadsheets and receipts. It's hard to argue with $22,000 in documented expenses. Rachel tried bouncing from one friend's couch to another, but her new spiritual persona rubbed people the wrong way. Turns out, no one likes a mooch who lectures them about energy and higher vibrations while living off their groceries. By Thursday, she was back in her old bedroom at her parents' place. 32 years old, right back where she started. A month passed, and we were both facing reality. Rachel got a crash course in what actual independence looks like. I discovered how calm life can be without daily drama. She struggled to find work. Turns out, incomplete life coach certifications and vague spiritual awakenings don't impress anyone hiring. When her parents finally threatened to start charging her rent, things got real fast. She landed a job at a medical office doing basic data entry, barely making more than minimum wage. A stark contrast from the lifestyle she once enjoyed at my expense. She started making promises, prenups, therapy, financial responsibility. Said she'd pay me back every penny, but her words rang hollow. Her take-home pay was about $1,300 a month. She couldn't even manage her own bills. Eventually, when she couldn't keep up with rent, she broke her lease. Since I'd co-signed, I had to cover the $3,000 penalty just to keep my credit intact. One final parting gift from Rachel's independence. She even consulted a lawyer about spousal support. That didn't go far. Once he learned she'd left voluntarily to find herself while I footed the bill, and that I had documentation for everything, he told her the odds were slim to none. 8 weeks ago, I filed for divorce. She didn't fight it. No lawyer, no assets, no leverage. The only question was who would pay the legal fees. 3 months later, she's still at the same job, still living at home. Her great awakening didn't teach her how to budget or build a stable routine. She's living paycheck to paycheck, no longer indulging in pricey grocery hauls, spa days, or impulsive retreats. Her parents started charging rent after the first month and made it clear they wouldn't support her forever. She reached out a few times, wanting to talk, maybe fix things. But she still didn't understand the real problem. It wasn't about a lack of love or communication. It was about being treated like a wallet instead of a partner. A friend mentioned she was dating some guy from work. Poor guy probably doesn't know what he's in for. As for me, I'm doing better than ever. Bought a new truck with the money I no longer spend keeping Rachel afloat. Started investing seriously again. Even went on that Japan trip she always said we couldn't afford. Turns out, when you're not financing someone else's fantasy, things become a lot more attainable. 6 months after filing, the divorce is final. Rachel got what she wanted, total freedom. And she found out the hard way just how difficult that can be. She's still at her parents' house, still working the same job, and the boyfriend? Long gone. Apparently, not many people are eager to date a 32-year-old who can't stand on her own. I used the money I saved toward the end of our marriage to buy out her notional share of the house. She never contributed a cent to the mortgage anyway. Now, the house is mine. Quiet. Peaceful. No drama. No made-up emergencies demanding expensive fixes. Just me, my books, my hobbies, and a steadily improving financial life. Rachel wanted to find herself, and I gave her that space. Turns out, she discovered she's not nearly as self-reliant as she thought. I, on the other hand, discovered what life is like without someone constantly draining my resources and patience. She got what she asked for, and saw how hard freedom really is. I got what I needed, and finally felt what peace actually means. It was the right ending for the person who had truly earned it.